Welcome to the Christianity in Business podcast with host Darren Shear, an initiative of the Archie W. Dunham College of Business at Houston Baptist University. This is the show that helps Christian business leaders to integrate biblical values into business. You can get more information about HBU's Center for Christianity in Business and sign up to receive free access to all 5 issues of the Christian Business Review Journal by visiting our website at christianityinbusiness.com.
Today we'll be discussing how would God run a factory, and we're joined by Dave Munson. Dave is the founder and owner of Saddleback Leather, which is a high-end leather goods business he started out of his truck while he was doing missionary work in Mexico. And you're going to love this tagline for the company: they'll fight over it when you're dead. And that's because people love these products so much, and these things last for so long and are of such premium quality that whenever you pass on from this earth and those who come following you will be wanting to divide up their inheritance, that bag is going to be one of the premium items to be divided up. And you also got to go check out this viral video, how to knock off our bag. I'll have the links to those in the show notes, but he's so confident, and you're going to love these bags so much. I mean, when you just look at it, you're going to be salivating. I know that's how I was. I typically don't go, for the more high-end stuff, but I mean, this just looks, I can see why people, Dave, are just so obsessed with what you're doing. But there's been so many companies trying to knock off what he's doing with cheaper materials and cheaper craftsmanship that Dave just created this incredible video, how to knock off our bag, which really shows the attention to detail and quality that goes in each of these products. And Dave and his wife direct a large portion of the profits to supporting missionaries around the world. And in fact, they are missionaries with what they're doing. You're going to hear about that. So welcome to the Christianity in Business podcast, Dave.
Well, thanks, Darren. Those are some pretty fine, kind words there. I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, I definitely dug into a lot of your what I could find, at least on Google and your website, and some of those videos, and I just love the products and the personality, and really most of all the heart behind it. So Dave, you got a degree in Bible and theology, and then you started this company. How did that come about, and how did you first begin to integrate the Christian faith with entrepreneurship?
So I didn't mean to start the business. So, I was youth pastor, and typical youth pastor, I was burning out after a few years. And so I thought, well, what do I do now? So I thought I'd go back to school and go back to work on my master's. And they wouldn't accept me because apparently my 2.29 GPA wasn't good enough for the master's program. So they said, and I was like, I didn't even have to study for it. And I got a 2.29. So totally, anyway, they wouldn't let me in. So, but at the same time, I ended up getting in, but at the same time, someone said, hey, would you come teach English down in Mexico? Volunteer, raise support at this Christian school kind of near Mexico City. So I was like, you know what? I prayed about it. I was like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. So I did. Told a piece about it. And so I moved to Mexico. And while I was there, I was looking for a bag, like this bag I had in my head, something like Indiana Jones would carry. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't find one anywhere. And so, but I found a guy making bags. So I had a bag made. And the whole time I thought, hey, I'm here to learn Spanish, and so I could do ministry with these youth, when really God had something far bigger for that. And even 10 years before that, he gave me a heart for Mexico. And I went on a mission trip thinking, oh, God wants me to minister to the poor here in Mexico on the border and build a house or whatever we did. And really, he was developing it so I'd go to teach English. And then 10 years later, what I'm doing now. And actually 14 years later. So, so I had a bag made, and everywhere I went, people would tap me on the shoulder. They go, excuse me, sir, where'd you get that bag? When I got back to the U.S. And 4 or 5 times a day up in Portland, Oregon, people were asking me where they could get a bag like that. So anyway, I ended up moving back to Mexico, sold real estate for a couple of years while I was having these bags made. I ended up in Juarez, Mexico, and my black lab and I ended up sleeping on the floor of this $100 a month apartment, no hot water for 3 years. And all the money I saved from not paying rent, I would deposit it into the bank account of this father and son further south in Mexico. And they would send up bags on the bus. I'd go to the bus station, pick up the 3 or 4 bags, take them over to El Paso. And I used a friend's mechanic shop at night to sell my bags on eBay. And then I'd come back in, I'd deposit the money into Juarez. They would send up 7 bags, and then 14 bags, and then 20 bags, and then it just kept going. And then I'd buy more dog food, pay my rent, and then I'd go back down to like 9 bags, and then 12. Anyway, it just kept growing and growing and growing, and it was really, really a blessing. And then I was down in Panama with my brother on this trip, and I stopped at this little internet cafe in 2006. And I went to eBay to see the auctions. The bags were selling for $710 for this, for 2 bags, or each, $710 each. And I thought, wow, that's really high. And anyway, I clicked out of there and went to MySpace. And there was this really pretty girl. She asked me, hey, where is Multnomah Bible College? And man, that was great. So I got back to the U.S., flew into San Antonio to meet her, started commuting back and forth. And then next thing, 5 months later, we're married. 9 months, 15 minutes later, I had a beautiful baby little girl. And now I have a little boy, and it's been 10 wonderful years. So we started our own factory in Mexico in 2008. And it's been super cool.
Wow. Well, as I was saying earlier, the products they just look amazing, and I absolutely love what I'm hearing about is happening down there in Mexico, and the way that you're caring for these employees and running this factory God's way. Before we kind of get into that, I don't want to gloss over the craftsmanship aspect of what you're doing, because it's such, from a Christian standpoint and really seeking to honor the Lord with our work and business, it's not only about evangelism and doing good to other people, but I can tell that integrity is very important to you, and it seems evident that it really affects your craftsmanship and the materials that you use and the quality, a devotion of quality. Could you talk about just kind of the role that plays?
Yeah, it seems like that whatever God did, he did it with quality. The temple, the tabernacle, it was kind of like, wow, this is the nicest in the whole world. Whenever someone would see what Israel had, it was the best in the whole world. It was the greatest. It was the nicest. And so I figured that I'd want to have a business that represented the kind of business that God would own. And I don't think he'd be trying to get the lowest price out there so people would buy more of his things. And it seems like he would do high quality. And he would, it just seems like that's the way he would run a business. And so I decided to go ahead and move forward with that. And so we do really high quality. We're very relational. We love people, and we treat people really well. And I just think that that's the way God would do business. And so, that's where that's gone.
And people can see that in that video, How to Knock Off Our Bag, where you actually show people what goes into to making that bag. And I love what you were saying about the way that when God does something, he does it with excellence. And I was literally just thinking about this on my run yesterday about when Jesus turned the water into wine, and the people were saying, wow, usually it's flipped where, the best wine comes out first and then the old wine comes out second. And it's not like Jesus can make old bad wine,
Yeah.
and like if Jesus makes it, it's going to be it's going to be the best. And that is evident in as a quality of your company, or a value of your company.
Well, speaking of that, the wine, that was the best wine that could ever have been made and will ever have graced this earth. And we will not have wine like that. Until we're in heaven, because it was the best. He makes the best.
Yeah. Well, he did say greater works than these shall you do. So who knows? Maybe there's a Christian venture out there that's working on something that might even exceed it. Who knows? That's probably another theological question for another discussion.
Yeah.
So I want to hear about this factory. You were quoted as saying, if God had a factory, we think this is how he would run it. So what are some of the things that you've been doing to take care of your employees, particularly down there in Mexico, where is it 250 employees that you have down there now?
I think it's around 230.
230, okay.
230. So a guy came up the other day, came up to my office or the conference room where I was working. He came up and he said, "Hey, Dave, I just wanted to tell you thank you, and for the daycare. We have a free daycare there." And then he just started crying, and he's like, "Well, let me tell you." And he went through and just had to keep stopping to cry. And he said that up until now, he said they have 3 little kids under 5, a 2-year-old and twin 3-year-olds. And he said, and he and his wife both work for me. And we pay him normal, pay him what's going rate in the community, if not a little bit higher. But something had happened where he couldn't go have daycare for some reason. I'm not sure what that was. Couldn't pay for it. But anyway, so they would drop the kids off at his mother-in-law's house, way out of town. And he'd drop them off on Sunday night, and then on Friday night or on Saturday night, he would go pick up the kids. He and his wife go pick up the kids. And he said, now, because they're at the daycare, I get to be a dad, and I get to put my own kids to sleep, and my wife gets to be a mother and mother her kids, and it's the kind of daycare we hire people who love God, like who really desire a relationship, a personal relationship with God there, and at the factory. And they're kid people. You have baby hogs, people who just love babies.
Yeah.
We hire them. And so these kids run to the door to get there, to go in, and they cry when they have to leave.
Wow.
And they're learning English, they're learning the Bible, all the Bible songs. They get nutritious meals. I mean, the parents are like, "Oh, it's so much nicer dropping our kids off here, knowing they're cared for." And so we pour into the people with that. We have where I was teaching English back in 1999 and 2000, that school is a couple hours away. So I called them up and said, "Hey guys, could you open up a school here by my factory?" And the Centro Noe it's Noe International is the place. And could you open up a school and for the kids of our employees, the older kids? It's a 4-year English program. And they prayed about it, and they said, "Yeah, absolutely." So we fully fund the English school, and so they're breaking that cycle of poverty, which is, it's easier to mold clay than it is to bust bricks. So we're working on those kids. But anyway, there's a really high rate of graduation and from high school, and they go off to college and all that stuff. So we pour into them there. We have. Have you read the book Love and Respect?
I have. I'm familiar with the concept. I have browsed. I've not read it cover to cover, but I love the concept.
Dude, you got to read that book. It's just totally changed my marriage.
Wow.
Totally changed my marriage. And so anyway, I'm down there. I met this pastor. I went to his church. My wife and I had the kids, and it was really a cool church. We're like, wow, this is a cool church. And afterwards, I said, hey, so what's this church about? Talked to the pastor named Pepe. And he said, oh, yeah, well, and he opened his laptop up, and there were some images from Love and Respect, Amor y Respeto. And he said, we teach marriage courses here. And, here at Saddleback, in the U.S., we offer Love and Respect, a streaming video of a weekend seminar, marriage seminar, or the book. We'll send it to them and have people read the book together. And it's just huge. So now we offer that with our employees in Mexico. We want their marriages to be healthy. And we haven't started the financial stuff yet, but we've tag teamed with some missionaries there. Local in the area, they come in and do morning devotions. And they know we love them. And so, so they're just yesterday, I saw a post from one of the missionaries said that 10 people gave their lives to Christ. In the 2015, we had 105 people gave their lives to Christ.
Wow.
And so they're at the factory. So we're about 100. We're about 50% have come to Christ now at the factory. And so now comes the discipleship, the follow up, and that's happening in the mornings. So, yeah, we have a cool deal going on down there.
So when you say discipleship, what does that look like in a for-profit business like this?
Well, what we just put the word out. We're looking for interns to come down to get international business experience, to get international manufacturing, lean, all of that stuff. But we really want them pouring into the people. So we want them kind of like going to the quinceañeras and the funerals and hospitals and birthday parties and weddings and really getting involved in the lives of the factory workers. And then, it's just, they're like, why do you love me so much? Well, it's because God. That's just what the guy who was crying telling me about the daycare. He said, "Why are you doing this? Well, I've been here for 17 years in this town, and I've never seen anything like it. Anyone doing something like this for their employees. Why are you doing it?" And I said, "To make little boys ask questions." And he looked at me and he's like, "What?" Like totally didn't get it. So I go, "Oh," I said, "Well, actually, because I wanted you to ask that question."
Yeah.
And I said,
"Wow."
I said, because God loves you so much, and He loves your wife so much, He loves your kids so much that He put it in my heart to do this for you. So He makes me happy to do this, because He loves you so much. So it's God's way of reaching down and loving you, and He desires a relationship with you. So, and then we went on from there. So, it's just a super cool thing we got going.
How is this affected with all these things that you have going on and taking care of the people in this way? I mean, how is this affecting turnover and just morale of the people?
Oh my gosh. Kind of the way it works in a lot of factories, usually one town does automotive, or one town does, like ours does, leather, shoes and bags and stuff. It's a big city. And others do aeronautic stuff. And so really they go from factory to factory based on who's serving meat in the cafeteria. So there's zero loyalty. And so, but when they know that you love them, I mean, seriously, it is, we don't have high turnover at all. But they know they're cared for, and their family members, they're bringing their family members to come work for us. So, we still have some, we still have people leave for various reasons, but we're way below average on that because they feel loved. I used to say, love me, love my dog. I used to have Black Lab. And when someone scratch on him and throw and fetch and roll around with him or something, I'd be like, that guy, I like that guy. He likes my dog,
Yeah.
But you love someone's kid, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of who's serving meat. We could serve oatmeal all day long in the cafeteria, and they're going to stay there because they're loved.
Wow. So what kind of success have you had? And I was also going to ask, how do you measure that? So measuring the bottom line is obviously something that every company is doing if they want to stay in business. It sounds like you have multiple bottom lines, right? So when it comes to making an impact on the personhood of the people, not just the productivity of the people, are you measuring those things? Like how many people are coming to know Jesus through the personal evangelism that happens there in the company? How many people go through the marriage program? I mean, are these things that are on your radar every day?
You know what? I should, but I don't. I mean, yeah, that's an area. So here's the thing. I am looking for, like, our general manager down there. He's a Dutch guy, really nice guy. And he wasn't a believer when we hired him, when we were starting this teeny little factory. But I just really liked the guy, and he was trustworthy. And so we hired him. And since he has gotten saved, but he doesn't have as much of the heart. Like, he does. He cares for our people for sure, and they all love him. I want someone who's its passion. So to do that, and he has a lot of responsibilities. We were just talking about this last year, end of last year, of having someone whose sole responsibility it is to reach those people, and to spend time discipling them, get them plugged into churches, get them plugged into community groups. But right now we just haven't done it yet. Something that really needs to happen.
Yeah, but and still so many things are happening, which is really amazing. I mean, given your responsibilities as a CEO and what everybody else has on their plate in the workplace, but absolutely right. I mean, to have somebody whose sole job is that, to take care of those people and kind of be like that corporate chaplain would I think take such a load off of you, as well as help to enhance those things that you're trying to enhance as far as the discipleship and the pastoral care, all of those things. Companies like Marketplace Chaplains and Corporate Chaplains of America, I'm pretty sure they're doing work all over the world. I think both of those companies.
I need to get a hold of them. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, Marketplace Chaplains is right in your neighborhood.
I'll have to.
Yeah, I think they're in Plano.
Okay.
So
there you go.
So we'll shout out for Marketplace Chaplains there.
Hey, well, here's something cool. So the town where I live, where we have a factory there, it's called Leon, and there are about 1.8 million people who live in the city, and there are 8,115 Christians there, and they had done some Southern Baptist missionaries who were involved before they moved off, were involved with the factory. The Southern Baptists are great at statistics, great at missions, and understanding where they're going. And so they said there are about 8,000 believers in the area out of 1.8 million. That's less than half of 1%. That is the 1040. That's better than that's worse than Morocco. That's probably worse than Algeria. I mean, and it's a 2-hour flight from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's a 2-hour flight from Houston. And so what I really want to do is get these I'll call them employee retention programs, where you do marriage, based off of Amor y Respeto, where we're doing financial programs through like a Dave Ramsey version in Spanish, where we're doing Centro Noé, doing the daycare, showing these people. And someone an executive from a factory, they have like 6,100 employees. He said, "Hey, when you get it all up and established, would you let me know how that goes? Because we might want to adopt that here in our factory." And they're not believers. But could you imagine if they adopted a love and respect marriage conferences, Christian daycare, and of course we would facilitate it all. But can you imagine?
Yeah.
And then the tannery said they have about 700 employees at different businesses they own. They said, "Hey, once you have it up, you let us know." And we're about ready we need some interns, but to be able to show it off and say, "Hey, why don't you adopt this in your factory too, in your businesses?" So spreading it through businesses rather than spreading it through, and then plugging them into the church is the key.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that's where we're going, along with a Bible school. Want to have a full-on Bible school in the area, Bible university. We want to have so that people are coming and going to school for the Bible, or to do ministry in wherever God puts them, not just in a church, but also planting churches in the area through the Bible school. And then the Bible students would work in the factory, maybe 10 hours a week, in some capacity, learning international business, learning lean manufacturing, learning quality control systems. And so they have a nice resume too. Anyway, I got a lot of ideas.
Well, somebody is, I'm sure there are many somebodies listening to this that are wanting to know, what is that city again that the factory is in?
Leon, Leon, and the town is Guanajuato. It starts with a G. just look up Guanajuato.
Guanajuato.
And so it's a 2-hour flight. And I've lived in Mexico. I'd lived there about 7 years. I've done business there the last 11 years. And I tell you, it is the safest. I mean, the border is just too dangerous. A little south of Mexico City is too dangerous. But where we are, the central part of the country, it is so beautiful. Wonderful weather all year. No crime. Very, very, very little crime. Petty theft stuff. And it is a wonderful place to go on a mission trip. I mean,
wow.
Wonderful place.
And so are you hosting short-term missions, or you have partners that do that, or?
I'd love to have them. I could hook you up with the churches.
Yeah.
And they would spread the people out through the different youth groups, or the college group, or the men's group, or whatever. We would totally hook them up. Wow. In homes, and it would be and you can get a ticket for like $300 from Houston, round trip.
That's
and
amazing.
To the 1040 window of the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
It's such a gold mine, and it's right in front, under our noses, and people don't even know about it.
Yeah, and that we have a brother in Christ and his wife that are on the ground there, that are not only sharing the gospel, but doing it in a holistic way, because you're addressing the economic situation, you're addressing the marriages and the raising of children. I mean, all of those different facets, and partnering with the local churches. Very exciting, Dave. I'm going to make sure that we have the links to where people can reach out and send their church teams down there, that they can get those interns that are listening that are saying, I need to jump on that. I need to go down there this summer and go put my hand to the plow with what you're doing down there. So as we wrap it up here, Dave, what would be a parting piece of advice?
So here's a good one. Okay. So this is something I've been thinking a lot about lately. Ministry, like we were in Rwanda the other day, and a guy said, that his school in Uganda teaches people it prepares them for ministry in wherever God puts them, and whether it's in the government or if it's in a non-governmental organization or if it's in a bakery. They're preparing for ministry and with the Bible. And so I would say, act like you have raised support to be in your workplace, and you need to act like that. And if you, let's say you went out and said, "Hey, listen, Bob and Judy, could you guys support me in this? I've got this architectural firm that I'm trying to get in. It's this huge, wide open ministry. They have like 50 architects, and they're totally lost. I mean, marriages are falling apart. I mean, kids are suffering. It's like people aren't. Man, it's just terrible. I'm going to try and get in there, and be a missionary to them, kind of like secret." And so you go, yeah, we can give you $50 a month or something. So let's say they get all these people supporting them to go in there and volunteer in this firm. And after a year, if I said, "Hey, Bob, how's that ministry coming along? What's going on there? Can you give me an update, ministry update? We know we've been supporting you and really praying for you." And if he goes, "Oh yeah, Dave, get this. Someone the other day, they sneezed. And then I said, God bless you." Instead of just
Dios te bendiga.
Dios te bendiga. And the guy looks at me, and I could tell he knew that I was a Christian. And then like seriously, 4 or 5 months ago, someone said their mom has cancer, and I said that I'd pray for her. So there you go. Yeah. I would say, is that all? It's been a year. Has anyone gotten saved? Has anyone been baptized? Is anyone reading their Bible? Are their marriages healthy or work-life balance right? I mean, tell me about your ministry. Is that all? And I'd be like, dude, I'm so yanking that $50. I'm gonna sink that somewhere where it matters, where it'll actually. I only got so much time and I only got so much money, and I'm not going to waste it on you. And so everyone needs to be acting as if. I wouldn't be so harsh, but everyone needs to be acting or purposefully acting as if they've been hired, that they raise support to do their ministry, and whatever that is, in banking, in a waste disposal plant, you name it. It's your ministry, and you're implanted there. And it's not, I'm not in ministry because I'm not being paid by a church. I know people who are outside the church in my last church, I was going to the Southern Baptist Church in El Paso. And one of the guys there was doing more ministry than the pastor. And he had some apartment complexes. And I was like, wow. And he really opened my eye to real ministry. And it's not just, the work of the church is just to equip the people who are out in the workforce, in the marketplace. It's the church's job is to equip them to do ministry. Not for the church to do the ministry. It is ministry, but it's to equip the believers to do the ministry. So
good. As you were sharing the story about, this hypothetical situation, which happens every day, it's happening right now, where, people have been entrusted with a stewardship, and, your paycheck. What if you thought of your paycheck as, this is God entrusting talents to me, and that I'm in that business, and God is my source. If you have a biblical worldview about it, and that you're not just there to make a profit, but to go into all the world and make disciples, not just make a profit. And somebody may be like that, the steward who buried his talent because of fear, and somebody may say, well, I'm afraid of my HR department, they might fire me, or I'm afraid that my coworkers aren't going to like me if I start being more open about what I believe. And it's not about being a Bible beater, but at least let them know, so that when they do have those struggles, or they do have that death in the family, they are at that crisis of life, that they know who to come to.
The other day I was down in Mexico, and our production manager, his name's Jorge, really, really dear guy, real quiet, but man, he knows production. The guy's solid. And and his dad died the week before. So I said, man, Jorge, I heard your dad died. Listen, I am so sorry to hear that. And he started tearing up. He's like, yeah, it's real hard, man. It's really hard, Dave. Didn't know it'd be like this. The whole family's torn up, And I said, listen, my wife and I have been praying for you and for your family. And he looked up like, what? I said, yeah, we've been praying for you. In fact, I said, do you mind if I pray for you right now? And then he was like, seriously, like staring at me, huge eyes, like, what? No one prays for people. So I did. I put my hand on his shoulder and prayed for him, and he lit up. I mean, he's not a Christian, but big, giant, fat smile on his face, eyes of amazement, and later I saw him later in the day, and he was like, man, thank you. He just couldn't believe that I prayed for him.
Yeah.
It was like prayer. I heard someone got out of the Jehovah's Witness church. She said what happened was she was selling vacuum cleaners, and she went to the store. This lady invited her in, listened to her story, and said, man, it sounds like you've had a tough time. Do you mind if I pray for you? And she said at that moment, she said she started questioning everything there was. She said, if you want to reach Jehovah's Witnesses, ask them if you can pray for them right now. And that, because it's a sign of love. And she said, we don't have that in our church. So she said she got out shortly thereafter. But praying for people, that's praying for people.
Well, that's a great parting piece of advice, Dave. Thank you so much for being so generous with your time and your expertise and your passion for serving the Lord in the marketplace, making disciples. You're really getting it done, brother. Thank you for the example that you're setting. May God continue to bless everything you're doing.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that blessing. And he does seem to be blessing all the time. So it's pretty cool. Hey, thank you for what you're doing, getting this word out, encouraging other people to grow and learn and make a difference. So this is really cool.
And everybody go check out saddlebackleather.com. Is that the best place for people to go, Dave?
That's the best one I can think of. That's it.
All right. We'll have the link in the show notes. Thanks again, Dave. Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, thanks. Take care.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if so, we would greatly appreciate it if you would leave us a quick rating and review for the Christianity in Business podcast on iTunes. You can get more information about HBU Center for Christianity in Business at christianityinbusiness.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to keep integrating biblical values into your business.